Hi, I'm Jennifer Brady, and I have been a homeschool mom for over 18 years. I'm a mom of four. I have a background in education, and I have been a wellness educator and aromatherapist for over a decade. So today I want to talk to you about learning by doing examples. And I'm going to answer questions for you like, what is an example of learning through doing? And what is experiential learning? And why is that important? Many of you are probably asking, what is the experiential learning definition? Well, let me tell you. Experiential learning is a type of learning that involves doing or experiencing something firsthand, and it can be a really powerful way to gain new knowledge and skills. I actually love it, and it is how I learn, and it is how some of my children learn. Remember, please, to hit your subscribe button, and you can get notified every time I upload a video. And then stick around, and I'm going to give you a free guide of the 7 habits of successful students. So let's talk a little bit more about what is experiential learning and why is it important. It's a process of learning through direct experience and reflection, and it involves hands-on activities, real-world projects, and interactive solutions. This type of learning allows students to explore concepts in a meaningful way, and it can help them develop critical thinking skills and problem-solving abilities. Now, let's look at some learning by doing examples. Imagine you're teaching a history lesson on the Civil War. Instead of just lecturing your students, you could have them participate in a Civil War reenactment. I know for our family, when we were studying the Civil War, I actually took my boys on a tour of Civil War battlefields through Tennessee and Georgia. We visited the national parks. We got our national park passport stamped, and our library, the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library, hosted a Civil War medical day where they could actually learn how the medics in the Civil War operated and see all the tools from the 1800s. It was really neat. My children learned a lot. And when children are engaging in more senses, if they're touching it, if they're smelling it, if they're hearing about it, if they're talking about it, they're going to retain more knowledge. Let's look at some other examples like science lesson on plant growth. Instead of just reading it in a textbook, because just PS, only about 30% of students actually thrive in a textbook, reading, sitting in a desk, test environment. That just doesn't work for over 50% of students. They need lots of hands-on to learn and to retain that knowledge. So if you were learning about plant growth, you could plant seeds, you could keep a log, you could go to a botanical garden like I've taken my children to. We actually went to an orchid festival here locally and talked to people who are dealing with orchids on a daily basis because they were super knowledgeable and they knew a lot that we didn't. So what are some experiential learning activities that you can incorporate into your teaching? So whether you homeschool or whether your children go to a public school or a private school and you just want to add to their education, there's lots of options like simulations and project-based learning, field trips, role-playing, and I'd love you to share any ideas in the comments below. If you have experiences that you have done with your family or things coming up in your own area that you'd like to share with others that will help with experiential learning, we would love to know about them. So I want to tell you something that I did with my own children. I started many years ago. So like I said, I have finished 18 years of homeschooling and I still have a few years to go. But homeschooling is my passion, and learning and teaching children in the way that they learn best is one of my biggest passions in life, because I want every child to have a tailored education to really learn through their interests and their passions and in the way that they learn best, right? So every spring, starting when the oldest son was young, I started doing something called 30 field trips in 60 days. Now, I know that sounds crazy. Like, who takes their kids on 30 field trips? I do, because I love hands-on. I don't love sitting at a desk. I don't like being cooped up in one room. I like getting out and learning. So, we have gone locally to museums. We have a military museum, we have a state museum, we have children's museums in our areas. We've done science centers and zoos, and we've done many nature walks and parks and so many historic sites because we love history. But we've also gone across the country. Like, we visited New Orleans, and we have visited Michigan. We have visited the whole East Coast, and we did a Washington, D.C. trip for a couple weeks to really learn about how the government works, and we took them to the Smithsonian's. We have done just so many things. We've taken them out west to do all the national parks, and we've done things like the Grand Canyon and Yellowstone. We've done Route 66 with them and taught them about the history of America and the highways and the road system. We've taken them to California. The trips that we've taken over the last 18 years to give our children experiential learning experiences will be lifetime memories for me and hopefully them too. We do have a national park passport that you can get at any national park, okay? Pick it up, and then they actually get it stamped every place, and we can look back and say, oh, remember when we did this 10 years ago, or we did this 15 years ago? Remember when we went to the petrified forest, or remember when we went to Lincoln's home? It's so cool. You guys, there's so much to do with your children and so many benefits. So let's talk about the benefits of experiential learning. It can help students develop critical thinking skills, problem-solving ability, and communication skills. Because remember, true communication is giving your children the ability to socialize and communicate with people of all ages, not just people their own age. So we want our children to be in the community, talking to the elderly, talking to all different people groups, talking to people of all ages, getting to know people, and really understanding how the world works in real life. So engaging students in hands-on activity, you're helping them develop a deeper understanding of concepts and encouraging them to really love learning and take ownership into their learning and education. So what is that experiential learning definition? A type of learning that involves doing or experiencing something firsthand. This is so important, you guys, and it's such a powerful way to teach your children and to give your children a really well-rounded life and a really well-rounded education. So just in conclusion, learning by doing is a powerful way to engage your students and promote a deeper learning and a love of learning by asking questions like, what is experiential learning? Why is it important? And what are some learning by doing examples we can incorporate some more hands-on activities into our teaching. So let's continue to explore those benefits of experiential learning and find creative ways to engage our students, whether you're a teacher or whether you're a parent. Giving your children or your students hands-on experience is priceless, you guys. Priceless. I will never regret the many, many hours of field trips and travel and hands-on experience I've done with my children. It is a core memory, and I love it, and I look forward to it every year, and we still do it even though my children are older now. We love our 30 field trips in 60 days. Do all the things. So I hope you guys get to experience that too. So we've made it to the end of talking about experiential learning, and I would love for you to subscribe or click the link below to download my guide on 7 habits of successful students, and that is totally free for you. So if this was helpful to you, please leave a comment, please subscribe. I can't wait to talk to you again on some more videos. I'll see you soon.